my song because I will be the craziest woman in the crowd, 1001%. I think that's like amazing that he's coming, and I have to thank my friend Robin, who you saw on the show with Blue, for bringing that to my attention, because that's just like, that doesn't happen every day, and I would love to see the man in concert. He's also of Parliament fame for those who are into funk, which is nobody in this room besides me. I know this. But it's all good. It's all good. I have time to decide, and I will certainly keep you all posted. But again, for those who don't know the theme song, it's Atomic Dog. Bow wow wow. Anyway, I talked last week about Kato and Kleo. They had their court date this week, and now we're still in a holding pattern because the judges are going to notify Kim's attorney of their decision. And, you know, this has been going on since October of 2012. Oops, I dropped one. It's all right, I don't need it. October 2012, it's been a long time, and it's been a rough fight. And, you know, there's been so much going on in Kim's world, their mom, that to drag this out is just, it's such torture, and it's so painful. It's so hard to just to know, put yourself in her shoes, you know, to have your dogs and they can't come home. You can go see them, to worry about, like, how must they feel, you know? I mean, it's just, I would feel bad that, like, they felt betrayed. Like, what did they do wrong that that's where they were, you know? I mean, it's just the dynamic of it is, it's so hard. And then to have to leave them, you know, on a pretty much daily basis when she goes to see them. I can't imagine. It's got to be so difficult. And now just to be waiting still, even after, you know, the emotional procedure of having to show up in court and put it all out on the table again, it's got to be hard, you know. So prayers and positive thoughts for, you know, the right outcome with this, because the only right outcome is to let them go home. It's been long enough. A special thanks, talk much, to those who did show up in court. There were supporters that were there. You know, these court cases, it means a lot to have people show up. You know, it really does. It's support for the case. It's support for the animals. It's support for the humans, and it shows that people care. And I think a lot of times that's priceless. Both for the person who, like in Kim's case, Kim, and it sends the right message that there are people out there who are paying attention. And, you know, Kato and Kleo have had some news coverage this week, and that's a good thing too, because you want to put it out there. You want the world to know what's going on, and to keep it current, and hopefully inspire more people to write letters and to follow the Facebook page, Kato and Kleo. God, I can't talk tonight. And just to be on board, because, you know, I always say with Facebook and social media and, you know, the internet world, sometimes you just need the right eyes to see something, and maybe there's somebody out there who will see some of this and have some kind of viable advice, or be able to do something, or know somebody, or have the right angle. You know, it's just all about getting it in front of the right eyes, and I've always said that. But for Kato and Kleo, really, enough is enough, and I really wish that they would be able to go home, because it's long overdue. Zach, do we have the Red Cross? Was that on there? Oh, that's good. So I messed up and I don't have a picture on there. It's all good. There is an app, and I had the picture, and apparently I didn't do what I was supposed to do with it. But the Red Cross has a pet first aid app for your phone. And it gives you, oh boy, somebody's phone's going off. This is a great night. It gives you step-by-step instructions for first aid emergencies. You can store your ID tag, your pet's photo, and medical information about your pet. It gives you early warning signs for when to contact a vet, and it has an animal hospital locator. So that's like a lot of stuff right there, but it goes above and beyond, and it gives you information on how to include your pets in emergency preparedness plans. And, you know, unfortunately, I don't have the app on my phone because right now I'm having storage issues, but you can download this at redcross.org/mobile apps. And perhaps next week, if I'm thinking, I will even put the picture up and cover this again because, you know, what every now and then I really mess up, but, you know, it's all good. All right, so now I want to talk about a dog. And I'll start with saying this makes me really angry because this whole situation is something that never should have happened. Zach, let's get the first picture of Daisy up. This is Daisy. Yeah, you can look. It's all right. This is Daisy. The pictures of her surfaced last month, I want to say, because I don't think they were up and out there any sooner. Daisy was at a sanctuary, very clearly morbidly obese. And, you know, you like to think of a sanctuary as a place where a dog is safe and taken care of. Clearly not so much in her case. You know, no one could explain how she got so overweight. And that's just mind-boggling, too. I think we have a few more pictures of her. There she is again. I mean, you can see the flies on her ears. You can see the sores on her elbows. Look at her. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse at all. She was pulled by the Forgotten Pet Advocates and put into a foster home. This is how they had to move her. I mean, she couldn't walk but a few steps without collapsing. Thank God that they got her out of there, is all I have to say. She was put into a foster home. The foster home had the vet come and do a house call. You know, of course, they were looking for any medical issues that might contribute to her condition. You know, she did have a thyroid condition and a possible adrenal problem. The next couple pictures of her in the grass, and I think there's one of her by the water, she looks like a different dog. I mean, you could see the confusion in her face when they were getting her out of there, and you could see how just lost and lonely she was, the way she was in that sanctuary, that so-called sanctuary. You know, it boils down to someone neglected her because really, to see a dog gaining weight like that, no, it didn't happen overnight. And, you know, if she was in a pen like that and she never got any exercise and she was gaining weight, somebody should have done something. I mean, even just bringing her to the vet to have her checked out, because that just doesn't happen by itself. It makes me so angry. And, you know, yes, it's neglect. It really is. Her needs were not considered She didn't get medical attention. She didn't get exercise. Who knows what they were feeding her? Nobody even gave a regard, it doesn't seem like, to whatever the health risks that were going to be a product of her being so overweight. I mean, for the love of God, she was 160 pounds and barely mobile. I mean, seriously, to get her out of there, she couldn't even walk those few steps to get out of her kennel. How is that even, I mean, I can't. She couldn't even scratch herself. She was full of flies, couldn't even scratch herself. I mean, in that condition, it came out that she hadn't seen a vet in 5 years. So again, it didn't happen overnight. And you let the dog get that way. I can't. It's so overwhelming to me that you could seriously watch a dog get like that. They showed a picture of somebody with a tape measure around, I guess, her waist. It was 44 and a half inches. There are men who aren't that big. I mean, yeah, there are plenty who are. Yeah, I mean, there are men who are, but still, that's amazing. That's just, I can't. So again, once she was taken into foster care, they were ready, willing, and able to do everything they could to try to do everything possible for her. You know, between the vet and doing blood work and trying to figure out what her issues were, getting her on medication, getting her on a healthy diet. They gave her a bath. She probably hadn't had a bath in forever. She probably felt like a queen after that. They started taking her for little walks. And, you know, there were videos up on Facebook of her taking her little walks. And from what I gather, when they went out, they had a golf cart in case she couldn't make it back. That's sad. But thank God for, you know, the Forgotten Pet Advocates. And thank God for her foster family who worked with her or tried to do the best that they could and right a situation that went just so wrong. You know, it took her a little bit to adjust to being in a home after so long of being at this sanctuary. And I don't even know why she ended up at this sanctuary. You know, whether it was, you know, like a rescue type of thing or she had some issues, which is why she went there. I don't know that part of her backstory, but whenever I saw her on Facebook looking like that, I just almost died, because it's neglect and it's abuse. You know, truthfully, she was finally on track to have a real life, and she would have had everything that a dog should have. But apparently, this week it became evident that her heart was no longer a willing partner in her journey, and Daisy passed away. Now, that to me is just, it's just too sad. You know, she came all that way. She endured a life of misery. How are you not miserable being so overweight? I mean, at least you can see the difference between those first couple pictures and her in her home. She looked so happy. She looked so relieved, you know. And it's a crying shame to me that finally she got her chance. I mean, look at her face here. She looks like a different dog, you know. Still, obviously, in so little of a time, not that much of a difference in her weight, but you can see her demeanor and just her eyes. Everything about her speaks of a dog that is feeling better, you know. So again, thank God that the Forgotten Pets Advocates got her out of there, and thank God a foster home opened up to her. I always say how important foster homes are. They really are, because if someone wouldn't have taken her on, then what? She'd still be sitting there. When I had seen her posted, I did message wherever she was, and because I had seen on the thread that there were people who were interested in her, but I never got a response. I can't. That taking on a special needs dog like that, it's its own niche. Not everybody's cut out for it, but bless these people for being the ones that understood what to do with her. It's just too bad that the damage is already done, and she couldn't do it anymore. It's just, again, a huge thank you for everything that they did. And her Facebook page is still up, and it's Daisy's Journey. So you can go and you could see some more pictures, and you can follow her story a little more. And just remember that not all of the effects of abuse and neglect can be undone. And that's a lesson that's taught to us over and over. And it really is. It's a shame that Daisy didn't get help until it was too late for her. And I'm definitely thankful that she did get her chance. And at least she had a taste of life. But, it's never enough. I'll take the camera back, Zach. And, I have a little bit of experience with an overweight dog. My Kelly was morbidly obese when I took her in. Zach, let's get that first picture up of Kelly. This is what Kelly looked like. My girl, who has been gone now for a few years, she was 23 pounds. And, she was a tiny dog. She was truly twice her weight. She was twice her healthy weight. A friend of a friend of a friend had her, was that kind of thing. An old woman who had taken ill, and this in-between friend reached out to my friend to see if she would take her. And, Kelly was a rat terrier, and I'd never heard of a rat terrier. This was, many years ago. And so I looked up a rat terrier, got all kinds of information online. We were told only that she was a little overweight. That's a little more than a little overweight. When we Kelly was at the vet's office. She was being boarded because the old lady who had her, Annie, was in the hospital. And the woman who lived in the building, Lydia, who was the person who reached out to my friend Tony, she brought us over, or we met her there. I don't remember whichever way that worked. And we met Kelly, and I almost died when I saw her. Now, my friend Tony agreed to take her, and I can tell you it was an experience just to get Kelly into my vehicle, because she didn't like to be picked up, and I can't blame her. It had to have been very uncomfortable and very painful. And, I found out later that there was all kinds of other, I want to say, abuse that she endured that we probably don't even know about. But Tony only had Kelly for like a couple of nights because her dogs didn't like Kelly. They were like acting out. Tony's father had Alzheimer's, and Kelly turned out to be a little bit of a nipper. So Tony had to work. It was Memorial Day weekend. Go figure, it's right about that time. It was Memorial Day weekend, and Tony had to work. So she asked me if I would take Kelly for the day so she could work, and that we would take her back to the vet the next day. And I was like, all right, listen, I'll take her for the day. But in my head, I couldn't imagine her going back to the vet. Who was going to take her? Who in their right minds was going to take on a dog that clearly had special needs? Let's put it that way. Well, throughout that day that I had her, Kelly and I had a little discussion. And, you know, I had Daisy at that point, and they were okay. Kelly was a little grabby about treats, but that was not a surprise to me, because apparently the old lady used to go to the diner every day and bring Kelly back, you know, leftovers and just feed her. And people, trust me, you can feed a dog to death. They don't need to eat and get heavy. It's the cruelest thing you can possibly do to an animal. Their bodies just can't do it. It's just like people, but you set them up for heart problems. You set them up for joint problems. I lived on the second floor. You have no idea how my heart was in my throat getting Kelly up and down those stairs, and she didn't want to be carried. My heart was in my throat. Zach, let's go to the other pictures, because clearly Kelly didn't stay like that. That was my Kelly. That was my Kelly, not the Kelly I got. That was the Kelly I created. Go ahead, and there she was. She was just a little nugget, and that was all she was meant to be. It was just a little dog, you know. And there she was, sandwiched in between my boys, and now they're all together again. But, you know, there's no reason. There's just no reason. And there's my Daisy and Kelly. It was one of the biggest milestones for Kelly when she was able to jump on the bed by herself. She would throw her toy up first, and then she would come. It was the cutest little thing. She knew she couldn't make it. And there's Kelly with Duke and Bocce when they were young. She looks bigger than she was there because of the way she's sitting. And I'm gratuitously going to show a wonderful little picture. Go ahead, Zach, with the painting. Doesn't that remind you of Kelly? The way she was just sitting there, the little ears and the little stubby tail. But anyway, that's my Kelly story. I mean, Kelly I got in 2000 when she was about 5, and I had her until she was like just over 15. You know, we think she had a lot of problems, but I'll take the camera back, Zach. We're going to zip through some events real quick. You know, just to finish up with Kelly, she had a lot of issues, and some of it may have been weight related and some of it not. Sure, some of it was because of her poor diet in the beginning, but, you know, people, stop leaving messes for other people to clean up. Don't create a monster. I guess that's my best advice. Anyway, let's get the Help Willie's Friends fair picture up, Zach. Tomorrow from 11 to 4 in Durham, Connecticut, Help Willie's Friends has their 7th annual pet fair. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on there, face painting and photos, nail clipping for your pets. There's going to be adoptions. This is always a great time. If you remember, a couple years back, I had Mark Perturzo from Help Willie's Friends on the show. It's a great organization, and this is a great time. They do this every year. I'll take the camera back for a hot second. We've got a couple more events. Next week at Pet Playhouse on Sunday, I guess, is the 22nd. In Milldale, Connecticut, from 11 to 4, there's a tag sale, and there are tables still open. There's also going to be an adoption bus from 12 to 4, and if you're interested in finding out more, it's 860-426-9640. Once again, that's 860-426-9640. And a little bit of an early heads up, let's get the Jameson's Jubilee poster up. You remember I had Jameson and his mom on from Jameson's Journey. They are having their 3rd annual Jubilee, which is bringing awareness to victims of animal cruelty and supporting local shelters. That's going to be on Sunday, June 5th from 12 to 4, and I believe that's in Ludlow, Mass. There's not a town on there, but I'm thinking since it's the Ludlow Elks Pavilion, it's probably in Ludlow, Mass, because that's where they're from. Anyway, these are just some of the upcoming events that you guys might be interested in. I will take the camera back. And how long do we have left? Less than 2 minutes. Okay, we can do this. Oh, we've done it before. We can do it again. Anyway, so if you've got events that you want me to post, by all means, feel free to contact me. You can either Facebook message me, hit me up on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page, or you can email me at pawprints, PAWPRINTS 713 at AOL.com. I'm happy to put up whatever you've got coming up because, you know, a lot of these things are fun to go to, and even if I can't get there, you know, why not give them a plug? The tag sale sounds intriguing to me. I always like a tag sale, and that's next week. So we'll see if I'm going to be a hermit or if I'm going to leave my house. That's always a tough one, especially on a Sunday. But anyway, again, if you have anything that you want to reach me about, that would be the email address, pawprints, PAWPRINTS 713 at AOL.com. You can, again, Facebook message me on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. If you're interested in coming on the show, I'd love to talk to you as well. One thing I haven't had yet is a vet, and I would love to have a veterinarian on. There's any number of topics we could cover, and I would be more than willing and open to entertain whatever, but I have a few ideas of my own. So if you're a veterinarian or you know one, holla. I am going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next time, thank you very much.